Hey everybody, how's it going?
We're here. We got it. Oh, you actually have all the Xenogenesis series.
Are you doing it still?
Yeah, we're doing it. Let's do it. Go on. Let's get this done. Let's get this done. Let's get this in. All right, ready? Welcome back, everyone. We are loud. It's a rough day. Welcome back, everyone.
No.
Okay, you have to. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. We are Law Library. I am Dantes.
I'm Jacob.
And today we're talking about one of our favorite books, The Goblin Emperor. Look at this bad boy. This is the mass market edition, but Levy doesn't want to take the nice edition
that name.
right here. It's very nice over here.
Okay, fine.
It's
here,
super good. Perfect. Thank you. No. We're doing this. We're leaving this in.
From the top.
Look at it. Look at it. Look at it, everyone. It's a very nice edition compared to mine. I want to have it. I would show it off to you. He doesn't want to show it off. I want to steal that book.
Okay, do you want to do the top of the video with me having this in my hand?
No, we're
redo
already.
it.
We're already in it.
No, we're not already in it.
We are
We've
Law
only been
Library.
filming for a minute.
We are Law Library. I'm Dantes.
From the top. I think you're stupid, and I think it's the best book I've ever read.
I'm gonna hate you if you actually believe that. Welcome back, everyone. I am Dantes.
I'm Jacob.
And we are Law Library.
And today, we are here for a book review of one of our favorite books, my favorite fantasy book, a one you really love, and it is The Goblin Emperor.
Look at this. Look, my edition's better. It's nice and mass market. Look at this little goblin boy. Love him. Learn to love him. Yeah, this is a book that you actually introduced me to, or Coop, one of you two, actually introduced me to. Yeah, I love this book so damn much. The Goblin Emperor, written by Catherine Addison. It is released in 2014. It is published by Tor Books. It is described as a steampunk fantasy. Would you describe that?
I probably wouldn't say it that way, but I mean, I can see it.
Yeah, it's apt, at least.
Yeah, a lot of people also call it cozy fantasy. I don't think I agree with that. I don't agree with that, but I know a lot of people call it that. For some context, it is the premise of the book is our main character Maya. He is the fourth and least son of an elf emperor.
He is
half elf, half goblin.
Yes.
It's not a huge important distinction
Thus,
in the book.
The Goblin Emperor.
Yeah, but his father and his three older brothers all die in an accident, and he is forced to come forward and take up his role as emperor with no training, no friends, very little kind of confidence.
Yeah.
And it's the story of him kind of coming into his own as emperor. It is a story that kind of focuses on the lighter side of things. It is the opposite of grimdark.
Yeah.
In that way.
I mean, main themes are like kindness, compassion, the whole loneliness, and like looking for friends or having friends.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I rated it 5 stars. Obviously, it's one of my favorite books. Not in my top 10, but it's up there. It's a great book.
I also rated it 5 stars. This is one of my favorite books ever.
Yeah, so let's get into it. Goblin Emperor, again, like you were saying, Maya's kind of been outcasted into the far reaches of the country, and then he's kind of thrust back into courtly life or into like the main capital because his family all perished, and then he's kind of like navigating that. He's navigating the loss of his family that he's been estranged from, essentially. Navigating now his newfound power and dealing with all the players that are in this kind of courtly political. I've heard it described as Byzantine-like structure of governance, where there's all these different like powerful people, and they're all trying to influence him, and he's trying to like navigate that and really try to do best by him. And throughout it all, there's like underlying theme of compassion that he is, because once he was like banished away, he did grow up in a sort of a abusive household.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like molded him, and also his love for his mother and how she treated him and everything. How kind of the things that she's taught him, and how he felt in this when he was banished, essentially. And that's helped him and helps him like navigate his time as becoming the emperor.
Basically, he's a super kind of kind and compassionate person.
He's the best.
And he comes to the court, and kind of everybody expects him to be
a puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all want to manipulate him. They all, like, even when he's getting news of his father's death, which happens in the first chapter.
Yeah.
There's like this subtle undertone of, don't worry, your father's dead, you're going to be coming in, but essentially, like, we've got this. And rightly so, I think his cousin that's also been kind of like banished with him and kind of guides him or like maneuvers him into claiming his throne and making sure that he's there, because if not, then possible bad things can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. What are some things that really stands out?
Honestly, being inside Maya's head and feel like getting his take and his thought process, because he's not a perfect character. He has like his moments of not rage, but just like he's just disgustado. He's just like he's kind of fed up with a lot of things, especially with how people try to manipulate the situation and stuff. He is, you see it through his lens, but like throughout it all, he's always thinking about like the other person and thinking about others and how better to find acceptance amongst these people.
Yeah.
He has his Do Hetere, Nor Hetere, I forgot what.
Yeah, the bodyguards.
Yeah, the bodyguards that he's trying to create like connections with, and he gets shut down by them pretty early on because they're their guards, and like he's bunking the traditional role of the emperor with his not having that much knowledge with courtly life, and but it's because Maya is Maya. He's a good goblin boy. He's very kind. So. And you? What stands out for you?
The big standout things for me is kind of just the way I feel like the whole book kind of comes together and works together to really kind of put you in Maya's shoes. I know, so one thing you'll hear a lot of in reviews that are maybe negative, or even just a criticism of the book, even from people who do like it, is that all the names are hard to follow, and all the names are a little confusing.
Yeah.
I think that's intentional.
I think so too.
I think like Maya goes into this feeling lonely, and I think it is intentionally I think the book intentionally creates a scenario where you as the reader also feel like you don't know anybody. But as time goes on, you get a lot of context into who is who. You start being able to keep track of everybody better. You start, even just the kind of language that is created. I said in another video that I don't know if it's out before this one. That Addison creates a language for this world that I think is second only to Tolkien.
Yeah.
And everything is kind of told to you through context, basically.
Yeah.
So
you dived into this naming and honorific, I guess, system.
Yeah.
And without any context, and you just have to start picking up bit by bit, how this goes. I mean, there is a glossary and a
guide
and a
at
guide.
The beginning.
Here it's at the end.
Oh, okay.
So when I was reading it the first time, and then I get to the end, and I see, here's all this stuff that I could have easily gotten a little bit more information about. But yeah, I went through this the first time I went through this book, it was that was the confusing part, but I'm okay with being confused as long as I feel like it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, you eventually start picking up on how these honorifics or these naming conventions go, and you get more sucked into the story. So the second time I was going through it, I already understood most of these naming conventions, and I enjoyed the story right from the get. It was just very beautifully told. The characters, again, are fully fleshed out. They make sense to me. You understand their motives and their intentions, what they're after. I know people say that I think the plot mainly revolves around character, the development, and how they connect.
Yeah, I would almost say it's almost like there almost isn't really kind of like a plot in the traditional sense. It's very it's more like a character study about Maya, the main character, the protagonist. And so the plot is kind of just about him coming to be a great emperor. Yeah. It's not a plot in the traditional sense. Yeah, and there's, if it hasn't been clear already, there's very little action in this book. There's maybe 2 pages total of...
I mean, not that. There's some action, but yeah. Do you want to get into spoilers?
Yeah,
all
sure.
Right, perfect. So spoiler time. You've been warned, all that great stuff. I want to get into this, forget about plot, let's talk about the characters. I have a list of characters here, and just a list of terms and everything of where everyone's going. We have Maya, we have his cousin Setharus, we have Chenelo, which there's a part in the story where Maya reflects on how another goblin servant pronounces his mother's name as Chenelo instead of Chenelo.
Yeah.
And it's a distinction that you hear in the audiobook too, where all the goblins are referring to his mother as Chenelo, Empress Chenelo, but all the elves are referring to her as Chenelo, which is, I think, great little addition a little focus that you have there. You have Ulysses Chavar, which is the High Chancellor of Maya, or of the Emperor. You have Xethero, which becomes Maya's fiance and wife.
No.
Empress. Xethero, yeah.
No, I thought her name was Coretta. Is that her last name?
Xethero Coretta.
Is it? Oh,
yeah, I think you have Vetchin, which is this bard.
Opera singer
that he kind of has a crush on and falls in love with. I mean, we could go on. His nieces and nephews, Idra, Eno, and
You skipped,
Mariana.
You skipped Sevet.
Oh,
And
Sevet!
Sevet is like his assistant, basically.
His main assistant. He's
Yeah.
the one that helps him. He helps guide him through all these like courtly, like every time Maya stumbles on like courtly politics or like etiquette, Sevet's there to like kind of like gently nudge him or remind him of how to do things. That later he also gains information from Bachelor.
Yep.
And you have the Nohetare, which are the bodyguards. They take turns in 2 shifts. You have Bachelor, Kala, Telemesh, and at one point Dajis, and then it becomes Kiru.
Yep.
And then I guess the main antagonists, that's kind of like the main bad guys throughout the backgrounds, are I think Ulysses Chavar and the Cosmer, what's his name?
Soru?
Tethamor. The Cosmer Tethamor.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Soru, the widow.
Oh yeah, Shevian.
Okay.
Soru Shevian.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have those 3 like main antagonists towards Maya and his reign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can just hear all these different names, and there's like naming conventions.
Yeah, so like the way we have like Mr. and Miss, they have like Mur and Min.
Yeah.
But that's never really like explicitly told to you. You just kind of figure that out.
Yeah, Osman. Like
There's a lot of great kind of write-ups online about the stuff, but you get a lot of it through context. So, for example, like one of the characters you mentioned, the opera singer, she's usually referred to as Min Vetchin.
Min Vetchin, yeah.
But someone like the woman Maya ends up marrying is referred to as like Doc Osman Heredin.
Yeah.
And you get like through context you learn a lot. So you learn like Min is kind of like Miss, but then there's also people who are Osman, but
They're
just by paying attention,
or like higher. They're like a higher status. So.
Yeah, just by paying attention, you know, like Osman. Oh, every time Osman or Osmer is used, he's talking to a courtier.
Yeah.
He's talking to someone who's of the court, who's like noble. Every time Doc Osman or Doc Osmer is used, he's talking to someone who's
Either
like
like a
very
duke,
important,
a duke,
who's like
or
a
like,
duke
yeah.
or something. Yeah.
And actually, there is one more person that I want to mention, which is Tara Kalahar.
Oh yes.
Tara Kalahar is he is actually the main protagonist of the sequel series that comes after this, the Witness series, or the Amalo
Cemeteries of Amalo.
Yeah. And he's essentially he's a witness for the dead, and he's hired by Maya to go investigate the death or the accident of the airship explosion.
He's a very interesting character. He can basically talk to the dead if they've died recently enough. Through magic, and he's like half priest, half detective. He's a very interesting character. But so let's focus on Maya. What do you like about Maya, about the main character?
I mean, I could go on for a lot with Maya. Maya again, he's a young man. I think he's between like 18 and 19 in the story,
something like that.
And he's been abused by his cousin Setharus. He lost his mother at a young age, at like I think 8, and that's kind of like stayed with him since forever. The fact that like his father, which is the title of his father or like the name of his father, is Baron Etchable the Fourth, and then Maya bucking and not becoming Baron Etchable the Fifth, and choosing to be Edrahasafar the Seventh. In the funeral of his mother, Empress Chenelo, there was like this one lady that was
a flashback. Yeah,
there was this one lady that was kind to him. Yeah, we're currently present like his age, but when he remembers back to that, there's one lady that he's kind to, and he does everything he can to find this lady to like thank her essentially in present time. And I mean that kind of just describes to you what Maya is. Maya is very compassionate. He's just a kind individual. Not that he's kind all the time, but like because he does have those moments of like frustration and
especially so like you've touched on, he grew up in kind of like under an abusive relationship with his cousin Setharus, and as Maya rises to power, Setharus kind of like wants to be there with him too, and Maya gets very frustrated with him and is just like, listen, I want this guy. He tells his people around him like, listen, I don't want to make any problems. I don't want to be offensive to him, but I want him as far away from me as possible.
Yeah, because he's traumatized by him.
Yeah. You touched on a lot of what I like about Maya. The things I want to touch on is like his confidence. Kind of the whole journey really is about him kind of just him like finding the confidence. and just like believing that he deserves to be emperor and that he deserves kind of for a long time just like even that he deserves to like exist. Yeah. But something I thought Addison does really well in the book is she makes Maya this incredibly nice, compassionate character without making him like stupid or naive. He doesn't understand the court politics, but even so, there's moments like even very early on where someone says something to him and he's kind of like, oh, they're being disrespectful to me.
Yes.
And so he's not like this naive, like bumbling idiot, which I feel like a lot of fantasy characters, like when kindness is kind of their main trait, they kind of come off that way. And it's just something that's very easy to kind of fall into.
Do you think it's because mostly this is written, like, it's really told from his perspective, though? Do you think it's because of that? And then, like, usually in fantasy, you don't get that kind of, like, introspection?
I mean, it could be. But I think it's like a little more than that. But I just think it's like a very easy trap to fall into. I think a lot of, especially when it comes to like ruling a nation and stuff, a lot of fantasy books kind of fall into, to be a good political leader, you need a certain degree of ruthlessness, and you need a certain degree of like cynicism,
like
almost.
his father.
Yeah, and he never falls into that.
No.
But he's never. It's never painted as a weakness. It's never painted as him being compassionate. Is never like, oh, that was the wrong choice to make in this situation. Yep. Anything else about the characters?
I think kind of like what you were talking about. There is a moment where obviously he takes a fancy to a courtier, a bard or opera singer, Min Vetchen.
Yeah.
And he understands that Min Vetchen might like him, but she's obviously using his influence.
She's taking advantage.
Yeah, she's taking advantage of the relationship or his infatuation with her. And I think someone calls him out on it, and then he immediately snaps back. Like, I know she's doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm aware that she's doing this, but I like her. Like, I'm not gonna hopefully fall into like whatever traps that she's laying or whatever missteps that could possibly potentially come about this like illicit, not really illicit relationship. But like, I'm aware of it. He's not an idiot. He knows when people are manipulating him, or he knows that he's usually starting off with a back foot, and he's not going to like be punked into anything further.
Yeah. What do you want to go to next?
I could just do characters all day, man. I think we could just do very lightly Cetharus and how he comes off, and then his wife like not realizing the type of terrible person Cetharus is. And kind of like being disgusted, but like in the end, like she's the wife. Cetharus got kicked out along with Maya because he kind of manipulated the king. Or he manipulated the emperor.
He was trying to become the High Chancellor.
High Chancellor, yeah. He was trying to take over before Chavar, Ulysses Chavar.
Before the current one.
Yes.
Yeah, he was trying to. Yeah, well, yeah, you said it well. He was trying to manipulate Maya's father into making him High Chancellor. Maya's father did not like that.
And banished him in that sense. I want to talk one more thing about the Nohochere.
Okay, yeah.
So these bodyguards, they take turns, and they kind of like. There's always two around Maya at all times.
Yeah, one is kind of, they call like the guard of the body.
Yeah.
And this is a person who is kind of like your typical like knight. Like they use like a sword, and then the other is like the guard of the mind or something like that. And they're a magic user. Yeah.
So the first two that Nohochere that he gets is Beshalar and Kala. Kala seems like he's a more fun, more like amiable kind of guy. Beshalar seems like he's more rigid and more.
Yeah, but even then, I think it's Kala kind of sees the problems Maya's having and like kind of wants to help him, but Kala's kind of like, that's not my place.
Kala's also the one that says we can't be friends.
Yeah, very early on there's this kind of emotional conversation that the two of them have that's like, listen, I know that you want friends, but it can't be me.
Yeah.
And Maya's like, I don't understand, like why.
Yeah, Beshalar is the cold one, and then Kala's the one that has to be like, no, we can't be friends.
Yeah.
Like, because we're here, like, you die, we die. We have to kill ourselves because we failed in whatever we did and everything. So.
But by the end of the book, Maya's like, no, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I spend every second with you guys. Like, you're going to be my friend.
Yeah.
Like,
and because there is an assassination attempt that happens towards the end of the book, and it just like kind of unites them, and you see like Maya being genuinely concerned for Beshalar because he was the knight that he was
injured. I
think,
think,
he was injured by the assassination attempt. And he obviously knows that Kala killed someone too. So like that, like he forcefully like says, no, we're like, it's not just that you're my bodyguards. I care about you, and you obviously care about me.
Yeah, he's like, and I'm not going to pretend that we don't.
And then the other two Nohochere that come in, Telemej and Dages. Dages is a jokey one, whatever, all that stuff, and Telemej is the other, I guess, the straight man to that.
Dages ends up betraying them.
Yes. Yeah. So there are two, like, I guess, main.
It's like a day shift and a night shift.
Yeah.
they take turns
There
so
are
that
two
they can
main
sleep.
climactic scenes. The first one is when Maya gets absconded in the middle of the night, and they attempt, and by they I mean Ulysses Chavar, which is the High Chancellor,
And the Emperor's widow.
yes, the Emperor's widow,
Chevian. Yep.
They try to force Maya to abdicate for Chevian's son Idra, and they were able to coerce Dodges into betraying the Emperor. Obviously, everything turns out well. Idra gets summoned in the middle of this whole thing, and he said, "No, I'm not going to."
He wants nothing to do with it.
I'm not going to be emperor. This is not how we do things here. And he knows that, like, the kid's smart for being he's not able to take on the mantle of emperor, even though he was Baron Etchable's favorite grandson.
Yeah, and he's like 10.
Yeah, he's like 10 or 14, I think.
Yeah.
He's 14 because I think there's like a 4 or 5 year difference. He's a very smart kid, and he sees that, and then obviously the plot gets taken care of by the good guys that come in. But yeah, Dodges betrays the emperor and then has to commit like a seppuku type of deal, and then Kiru Azmaza comes in. Azmaza is, I think, the title for the Nohechere.
It's the surname that like the magic users take.
Yeah.
And it's a big deal when Kiru comes in. It's a big deal because I think she's like the first woman Nohechere, or something like that.
But she's also like a type of nun, essentially.
Something like and it's never Maya kind of like almost like inadvertently does a lot for like women's rights in this nation. He tells his sister. His sister was supposed to get married. Was supposed to get married.
It was never official. It was just like written. It was just kind of like a verbal agreement.
Yeah.
And
Maya is kind of the first conversation they have. He's like, "Well, what do you want to marry this guy?" And she's like, "No, of course not." And he's like, "Okay, then don't." And she's kind of like, "Hang on a second. What do you want? You need me to marry him. Like, you don't have a lot of political capital right now. Like, you need me to marry this guy." And Maya's just kind of like, "Yeah, who cares?" Like if you're not going to be happy, I don't want it to happen.
I was banished. I was forced to do stuff. I don't want to force you to do stuff. So I mean, that shows you the character of Maya. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like I could go again all day with characters, but like let's move on to like world building.
Okay, you want to do world building?
Yeah, go ahead.
I really love the world building of this book, and it almost seems a little counterintuitive, the world building, because you don't get a lot of information about the world itself. But you get a ton of information about the court, about the cultures.
So you feel like this world has been around for, like, even though you don't know much about the world itself, you feel like the world has been around for millennia.
Yeah, it feels so. The way I view it is, it feels less like a fantasy, where like a lot of fantasies are especially high fantasies, are concerned with you understanding the world that you're in now. This feels almost like it's like a historical novel, where it's like you know how France is. Like, I don't need to explain France to you. Like,
the AC court is Paris.
Yeah, but it goes through.
Versailles.
But there's a lot of depth in the culture, in the elf culture and the goblin culture, especially in what we get of the goblin culture, the Barajese.
The Barajese and the Great Avar, which is his
grandfather.
Yes.
And then just like the court system itself.
Yeah.
And how that works with the different. It's the High Chancellor, and then it's like
all the prelates.
Yeah, and it's like the Pope, basically, and what is he called? The name of it is on like the tip of my tongue, but it's okay.
Is it a prelate? The prelacy?
Yeah, but there's a name for the guy in charge that I can't remember. The archprelate, I think.
Okay.
I think it's something like that. But I was going off. There's like the High Chancellor, and then he has like this council. And he has like the guy who's in charge of infrastructure, and the guy who's in charge of the universities, and the guy who's in charge of law,
and the clocksmith guild.
Well, they're not. They're there for like a meeting. Yeah, there's a ton of depth if you're like looking for it. What do you think about that?
I exactly kind of what you're saying. I feel like while you're not shown the entire world and everything that kind of goes on with it, because of like the depth of, I guess, this government and the kind of like history that you hear about with the Barajesi, and you know that it's just mentioned like, oh yeah, we like this political marriage with the goblins and the elves stems from this, and it helps with this relationship, and it stops whatever war is going on while we're currently fighting a war over here. Like all these bits of information are being told, so it makes the world like feel rich and alive, and there's depth to it. Like one of the things about, I think, a common criticism about Sanderson is that world is very wide. His world building is very wide, but it's not much depth. This feels like a deep, lived-in, real world that you just like. And while you might not know all the things kind of going around you, like it feels alive, and it's
Yeah,
been
and you're
functioning for years.
You're only in this one city for like the whole book.
Yeah.
And I actually like, I won't linger on it for too long, but in the sequel, in the spin-off series with Thara Kellar, he goes to a different city basically, and you're seeing a different place. And I actually, reading that book made me understand a lot more about this book, just from knowing some of the wider context in the world and stuff, and from just with like how like the language and stuff, like we talked about a little bit.
The language,
knowing,
and just like
knowing some of the stuff from the other books actually helped me a little with
There's
this.
actually a scene here that I noticed with like the witness that coming to talk to Maya about his abduction and kind of his feeling, and he's the witness for the ones that can't speak or whatever. He's not the witness for the dead, but like you have all these different like I guess detectives or lawyers reading the
a witness in the context of the book is kind of just like an investigator. So there's like judicial witnesses, and they're kind of just like judicial investigators, basically. Yeah.
It made me understand like their role a little bit more, because on the first read I kind of like glossed over it, but like here it kind of stood out for me more. Yeah, I think world building is top notch. The politics is where it's at. The governance is where it's at. The naming conventions is where it's at. I want more from this world. I just want to like find out more. If it's not from Maya, then just from someone else in the world, and just get more of that.
Yeah, I mean, she's still writing. I hope she writes more in this world. Tomb of Dragons, the last Cemetery Zombie book, like just came out.
Yeah,
I hope we get more in this world. I would love to see another Maya book, but I don't know if that's something she wants to do.
I'm not sure. Well, you see Maya again, but
but it's not like his book. But I would just love to see like him.
Like, hey, I'm gonna come back.
Him and Corredin and stuff. Yeah. What about? Do you want to talk about prose and kind of writing style?
Prose, I guess it kind of goes with the naming convention. It just speaks to an author that knows her craft. It seems like it's done with intention, and there's personality in the writing, and it just is done well.
Yes, it never gets like flowery.
Yes.
and stuff, but
I saw a video where like they were talking about like the way, the manner of speech, or like thou, thy, you, all this stuff, which is intentional again, because you're having like a distinction. Like in other languages, you have this distinction of formality in it that you don't really have in English, but it's used intentionally in that. And again, that goes with her prose.
I think intentional is like the perfect word for it, because it never gets super flowery. It immerses you.
Yeah,
it's very like kind of formal and kind of courtly a lot of the time, and it gets you in Maya's world, and I can see that. I can see the writing style not really being for everybody, but I don't think like the prose itself is never what's getting you lost. It's kind of like the names and stuff, but if you just pay attention, and I don't think it's a big problem. I know I've seen plenty of reviews and videos who are like, oh, I could not keep track of anything, and I'm like, just pay attention like a little bit.
They never read Malazan.
They never read Malazan. Is that what you said?
Again, I can't stress to you enough how much this book is told in such it's a little bit jaw-dropping, how like such a simplistic plot really just impacted me and made me emotional.
The biggest, because it's everything works together.
Yes.
That's what I love about this book so much.
Like the thing that was mentioned before, it gets brought back later. Is just
the most important thing that Maya does in the plot is he builds a bridge.
Yeah.
Which like when you just say it like that, it's like, oh, that's so dumb. Who cares about that? But it's because of everything he has to go through to get it done. It's because of like the symbol of it. Like he's like bridging, like he's trying to bridge these not just the culture of the elves and the goblins and stuff, but he's like being this compassionate character who's trying to bring people together instead of separating everybody apart and like ruling them with like an iron fist. And so like it's this thing that doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal, but it's such a huge victory because one, it's this thing that Maya really wanted to happen that he gets done. It's the symbolic victory, and it's like just the way everything works together in this book is just so incredible.
Yeah, I think the last thing I want to talk about with this book is really like the emotional aspect of it. The first time, I guess because I was juggling between like understanding the naming conventions and then like finally getting into the plot and everything, it was enjoyable, and I did very much care about Maya and the people that he cared about, like even his like little nieces and nephews. Like I really like loved them and stuff it. But this time around, when I was reading it, I got more emotional in different plots or different spots in the book, with the assassination attempt at the end, with Idra, Eno, and Marina, like being entirely concerned. His fiance pretty much causing all hell to find out if her husband is alive.
One of my favorite scenes in the book is she like storms into the like great hall basically like with a sword in her hand and is like who hurt him?
Yeah.
I will kill them.
Yeah, it's really good. You have, I mean, the little moments of Sevet and finding out about his past with the Cosmer,
With the Duke.
Tetamar.
Yeah.
The emotional beat from that, and then like Maya having an emotional reaction to Sevet's story, and like. Again, what we mentioned it before when the Nohetra, when Kala kind of says, "Hey, we can't be friends," and how gutted, and that kind of goes on throughout the book because there's a bunch of times where Maya repeats to himself, "Oh, we can't be friends, we can't be friends," and then when that final assassination attempt happens, Maya's just like, "Fuck this! Like I like you guys mean more to me than anything else. You guys are willing to give up your life for me."
Yeah, it's just there's like he had such a lonely life, and then he comes here and he's kind of hoping things will be better, but it's still he's still lonely for different reasons.
Yes,
and it guts him and it guts you as the reader because it guts him.
So you get all those three like emotional beats. His fiance coming in, like obviously caring about him because she got to know him a little bit better. The Nohetra becoming his friends and caring about him. His nieces and nephews, the same nieces and nephews that were not part of the plot to help them abdicate, but
you would kind of think they wouldn't like him.
Yeah, because they got rid of his mom.
He imprisoned their mom, and then he's kind of only in power because their father died.
All these emotional beats really just land, and then even like there's a dinner scene that he's having with. Not like advisors; they're more just like political leaders.
The party,
the party, and then like you see the political leaders are all like jiving back and forth, and like you feel that kind of like warmth going on. Yeah. Like Maya realizes that these guys, even though they usually stand on opposite sides of the aisle or whatever, they are friends, and he gets like that. He enjoys that. He enjoys seeing that.
Yeah. It's just these small moments of like kind of like building connection, and it's just because you're so immersed in Maya's life, it feels like all these kind of small victories are like so much bigger than they like really are. Like if you're looking at it from the outside, but because you're so immersed in Maya's perspective, it's every little thing that happens that's good for him feels like so much more.
All right, that's pretty much everything that I had here. I wanted to let you know that it won the Locus Award for Best Fantasy Novel in 2015.
Oh yes, I forgot. Yeah, it was, and I think it was Hugo nominated, but I don't think it won. Yeah.
I could go on and on about talking about this book and this world, honestly, because I do like the sequel trilogy too. And do you have anything else that you want to say? No, perfect. All right, thank you so much.
I do think this is such an amazing book, and I think everybody should love it. But I don't think everybody's going to love it.
Yeah,
I do. I acknowledge like this is a 5-star book that I think is incredible, and I can acknowledge that there's going to be people who don't like it. There's going to be people who don't like the style. There's going to be people who don't like the lack of action. There's going to be people who don't like the naming stuff, finding it hard to follow and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think it is incredible, and I encourage everybody to give it a shot.
For sure. Same. It's a great book. We don't usually agree on too many books. This is one that we both love and we highly recommend.
But if you guys have read the book, tell us what you think about it in the comments.
Yes,
like and subscribe if you want to see more reviews like this.
Let us know who your favorite character is.
Yeah, or if you found this interesting enough that you want to go out and pick it up now, please let us know. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Hope to catch you on the next video.
See you, everybody.
Bye.